I want to discuss a film with Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson. Okay, excuse me, I had to make that reference. So, today in my talk, I'm going to discuss the problem of translating humor. There is a saying, humor doesn't travel well. So I'm going to try to understand why it happens and whether there is something that can be done about it. So, when I came to Atlantic College, to this multicultural community event where students from all over the world study, I soon realized that I want to become friends with all of them. And soon I realized that most of the communication happens in day rooms, through humor. We joke, we laugh, we become closer. But naturally, as all of us come from different places with different cultures, misunderstanding occurs. The other day I was talking to my Israeli friend and she told me a joke which was like supposed to be really hilarious. It was something like, how do you call a Japanese car racer? I was like, how? She was like, a man with a car. My reaction was similar to this. Well, it turns out that in Hebrew, a man with a car is Yashimoto, which sounds pretty similar to Japanese, and it does make sense. So I started to think, but what is exactly humor? At first glance, it's quite easy to define. It's something that makes us laugh, causes the spontaneous smile. But as you start to dig deeper, you realize it's kind of really complicated theoretical complex. Is it the most defining aspect of humanity, as it only occurs in human beings, and of course animals make sounds, but it's not exactly humor. Humor can even be understood without laughter. And humor can include person in the group and exclude person from the group. Humor can be even treated as a talent-related skill because it is neither teachable nor learnable, unlike academic papers, classes. So, and of course with such complex theoretical concept, there is going to be a problem with transferring it from one language to another. And translators hate humor. Like, it causes so much problems, whether you try to translate a book, a story, a subtitles for the movie. And there is a quote, when it comes to translating humor, the operation proves to be as desperate as that of translating poetry, which is quite true. Well, soon after looking at some articles on the internet, I realized there are, luckily, 3 major ways to translate humor. We have to define types of humor. There are also 3 types. And first one is universal or reality-based humor, which is like the humor that we all understand regardless of our cultural background or language skills. And for example, we have countries X, Y, Z, and countries X and Y border on country Z. So countries X and Y can share jokes about country Z, which is really nice. Next column is the culture-based humor, is the humor that you have to have an inside knowledge for. There is a clip on YouTube which has like 2 billion views, and it features an interview with Dalai Lama. So an Australian interviewer tells a joke to Dalai Lama, probably you have seen it. It goes something like this. So he says, Dalai Lama, there's an interpreter beside him. A Dalai Lama walks into the pizza house and he's been asked, what kind of pizza do you want? One with everything. And the expression on Dalai Lama's face after the translating is like, why? So with culture-based humor there is also going to be a problem with the translation. Like it happened a couple of days ago when I was telling to in my head it was a hilarious joke, a Russian hilarious joke to my friends, which was about Soviet spy during the Second World War in Germany, and he's on a mission, and goes something like, so the spy is on a mission, he opens the door, the light goes on. He closes the door, the light goes off. He opens the door again, the light goes off. On. He closes the door, the light goes off. The spy deduces, it is a refrigerator. Hey, you get it! I knew it was funny, because that person was blank face. Okay. Next section is linguistic or word-based humor, which is my favorite, because coming to AC, I think all the teachers that I have think they are really funny, so they try and they try to joke all this humor that is based on wordplay. And it's the other day, one of my friends also decided to be hilarious and told me a joke, and it was something, what does the stars say when they want to assemble? They planet. You see how you're sort of, but okay, we now know the categories, need the ways how to translate them. There are other ways, but there are also some risks. Well, first way of how to solve this problem is struggle and remake or annotate it, but the problem with annotating it is that kind of explain the joke, and explaining the joke is even worse because you kill it. And well, yeah, thanks, now I understand the humor, but it doesn't cause me any emotion anymore. The second way is the easiest one, abandon. Some translators truly believe that it's better not to mistake the humor. It's just oh, this is a really cultural reference that the author makes, and this is just a joke. And for example, there is a famous case with a British comic, Jimmy Carter, who went to Japan to visit one of the colleges. And of course, being a British comic, he told a joke. And the audience laughed. There was so much noise and excitement. And he was whoa, I didn't realize they're laughing so hard. Didn't they like the joke? Or he says to the interpreter, he says, oh, I just said to them that Mr. Carter is going to make the joke, please laugh. It worked. And the last way is switch it to something else. So, for example, the translator understands why this is funny, why the sentence is funny, why the situation is funny, and he tries to come up with a similar situation in his language, in his culture. But the risk with it is, should the translator be allowed to do so? Should the translator be allowed to put his own knowledge into the literal piece? Because it kind of changes. So after realizing that all of these ways have major disadvantages, I started to think, and that saying, humor doesn't travel well, haunted me, because I wanted to travel, and I wanted to laugh genuinely with my friends who I study with, who I live with. And it kind of was really sad, and I started to think maybe all the world conflicts, wars, and situations happen because during all of those countless conferences, there's simply no understanding. There is no joke to release the tension between the nations. Okay, this is kind of dramatic. But maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it has its advantages. It should have. Let's look at the silver lining. Okay, so sometimes humor can even get funnier through a translation, right? We all know those YouTube videos where we have English songs and they sound something we understand it in a different way, the lyrics are misunderstood, and it makes the song even funnier. I had the case with one person asked me the other day, oh, so who is this friend in your picture? This was my classmate back from home, back from the Ukraine. And I said, oh, do I just laugh? And someone in the room, baby, don't hurt me. Okay. Next one is maybe because humor is untranslatable, it shows us how unique the language is, how unique our culture is. Because during the time of globalization and massive integration, where everything mixes, humor is that complex emotion that really stays in one country, within the borders, within the nationality. Maybe that's why we say we are the nation, because we laugh together at jokes that other nations don't understand. And maybe all it takes is a good translator, because it is believed that if a translator appreciates humor and loves the author, he will try to make the best joke he can. And we know that there are successes, because I read Harry Potter in Russian, and there are some funny moments. And I read other books in Russian, and sometimes it's even funnier than in English, because those words that sound to me Russian, they have a different connotation from English, because I lived through them, because I experienced them, and they just cause mysterious reflexes that cause laughter. So, by the end of the day, when we are all in the day room and a Japanese guy laughs together with an Albanian, and someone tries to impersonate a Russian person with a Russian person showing how to do it properly. And those are the kind of tiny moments that do let humor travel the world. And maybe sometimes you should risk looking like an idiot, looking awkward, and tell the joke anyway. Maybe there's someone in the audience who will appreciate it without even understanding. Thank you very much.